back in Gainesville, Florida, back again in the Mark Oswald pit. Now his crew, Bill Schultz, Mark himself, Degamp, they're concentrating on the engine. All of their friends you see in the background say, let us take care of the body. All right, we'll handle the healing there. You go make some horsepower to try to beat John Force in the final. We still don't know if they're going to make it, but it won't be for a lack of numbers or trying.
Shades of Gainesville '86. Remember when the belts kept coming off the wheels and destroying my fiberglass front end? Well, the friends were coming over and doing all the repair work while we repaired the engine. It was a big help, let me tell you.
By contrast, here in John Force's pits, well, things are quite boring, actually. They're just going about their normal maintenance. They don't have nearly the problems that Mark Oswald does. All right, it is time for the final four in Top Fuel. We have got Don Prudhomme versus Gary Ormsby. Should be a wild affair. Ormsby #2 in the world last year. Prudhomme certainly on the rise in Top Fuel. One runner-up finish to his credit already this season.
And you know how these guys feel. Each crew thinks that their very next run, they're going to have the problem solved and they'll be in the fours.
Oh, absolutely. Don Prudhomme was in the 5-0s in the first round. Ormsby can't get out of the teens so far. Prudhomme in the near lane. Ormsby over on the far side. The Castrol GTX Top Fuel dragster. Prudhomme pre-staged. Ormsby pre-staged. Neither driver is moving, Don.
They don't want to do anything. It's a staging duel.
Both drivers want to stage last. There's a lot of shoes that think that's an advantage. And look, neither front end is moving.
Oh, my goodness.
And the heat continues to build in these motors.
This could mean wheel spin.
You can hurt. Oh, Buster Couch has started. Says, come on, guys, we don't have all day. Now he's going to let them sit there for a while. All right. They're away. Ormsby with the advantage. Prudhomme with the horsepower. Don Prudhomme goes to the final round at 5:04.273. Ormsby trails at 5:17.279, even though he had a 400th advantage right off the starting line. In this sport, that's a long, long ways. All right, the starter being attached to the front of the motor on Joe Amato's car. They squirt a little gasoline into the injector to give it up prime. Now those two huge pumps on the front of the engine take over. How much nitro gone through one of these cars these days?
13, 14 gallons in a run, counting all the burnout and starting procedures.
At about 25 bucks a gallon. This is not an economy run. Kenny Bernstein, the Budweiser King. Dale Armstrong, likewise firing up his engine. Usually the crew chiefs will talk and say, now I'll fire first because I'm going to do a shorter burnout or whatever the arrangement is.
They have a real good rapport. Neither one wants to play any games. If a guy wants extra heat, he'll ask to fire first. Sometimes you see a guy wait a long time. They mean the heat is up and they don't need the extra time. Steve?
Tom, it appeared we had two very stubborn race car drivers on the starting line.
I guess so, but you know, that's the name of the game. They do it to me sometimes, I do it to them. We weren't trying to use each other up. You know, Gary Ormsby's a real fair racer, and I think I am too. It's just that, you know, he likes to go in first, I like to go in last, so you just kind of play that game a little bit.
You had to drive around him with a 504.
I guess so, yeah. You know, the car's been running pretty decent here, but we knew he'd be tough. You know, he's really strong.
Let's see who indeed will race the snake in the final.
Will it be this car, Joe Amato, who has been brilliant today with his performance?
And for Joe, Jerry Amato, Tim Richards, this has been the brightest day of their 1991 season. The first day, everything has gone right. Well, for Kenny Bernstein, it's been quite the opposite. Virtually everything has gone right. He has won the last two NHRA championship events in a row and leads the points.
And his reaction time has been phenomenal. Joe has got to have that on his mind. In fact, that's the thing they've been working on his car, Steve. Reaction time, both the car and the driver. They know that they're going to have to improve that if they're going to beat Bernstein.
Well, they came in here with a fuel system very similar to Bernstein's. Dale Armstrong knows that they have got that part as well, and that may be some of the combination towards those very quick reaction times. Let's watch Bernstein near lane, Amato in the far lane.
Looks like they're taking a little time.
It's Amato away first. Amato welds Kenny Bernstein to the starting line. A 4.05 light. 4.0 is perfect. He was 5,000ths of a second away from the light. 5.01 for Amato, 5.06 for Bernstein. So the final will be Joe Amato against Don Prudhomme. Amato with the lane choice.
But it will be a real good race because both cars are running just about even. The engine is just now starting to go back together in the Mark Oswald pit. They're running a little late because they got a late start. They didn't know whether they're going to repair this car or not, and they've got a long ways to go. Meanwhile, Steve is with Joe Amato.
You haven't raced Prudhomme that much, but you saw against Ormsby, he didn't want to stage.
No, them guys had a little shootout at the OK Corral there. Ormsby always wants to stage second, and Ormsby, but I don't really care. I just go up there and do my own deal and run my own lane and don't get involved in none of that.
Okay. We'll see when the time comes.
That's really the best philosophy because there's no rule that says one driver has to stage ahead of the other.
You're looking at the Oldsmobile Pro Stock engine in Warren Johnson's car back at his trailer. There's just moments to go before the final against Darrell Alderman. Whereas Warren Johnson, well, he's just to the front of the car, willing it to win.
Drag racers love a thrash, and there is a beauty going on in Mark Oswald's pits. His friends, guys from other crews, would not let him give up after that tire exploded. They're going to try to fix this body. And it's not just body work. Also, welding has to be accomplished underneath the car to what they call the tree. Small diameter tubes that give the body its integrity. But the real story and the real work, well, that's over where that tire blew. Now, what is making this possible is the body off of Tom Hoover's car. Remember, it blew away? They've cut pieces out of it, formed it onto the Oswald car, where they had gaps. They've used, well, aluminum sheet. They've used duct tape. They can't use resin. It wouldn't set up in time. Pop rivets and quarter-inch bolts. Can they make it? I think so.
Well, it looks like the guys have signed their Picasso there.
That's right. Nick Bonenfant from the Rebecca's Winning Car wrote, "From the guys," with a magic marker. Well, I'll tell you, here's a guy that has been unbeatable in the Pro Stock ranks. We've said it before. We'll say it again. He's won all 3 races held this year in his Dodge Daytona. There's Darrell Alderman. Warren Johnson, however, in the Oldsmobile in the near lane last year, Don, should have won a lot more races than he did. He's got the power.
Well, the way I see this thing, Warren Johnson usually has the performance advantage and loses, and Darrell Alderman doesn't have the advantage and wins. It seems like he always is able to muster a little something extra out of that Dodge at the last moment. And poor old Warren Johnson, something always happens to him.
Well, Johnson has been running a second car with Scott Jeffrey on, and that has been kind of a mule car. They could go out and try things on it if it worked, then transfer him to Warren's car. And so far, I think that's been a big help. And one of the reasons why that blue and white Oldsmobile in the near lane is in this final round. All right, just moments away. Who do you pick, Big Daddy?
Well, I'll tell you, Warren Johnson has got the performance advantage. And I got another thing. Alderman has won too much. That makes it a little bit against him in odds.
All right, here they go. Alderman away first. You're riding with the whole shot. Johnson has won it from behind in what may be the closest side-by-side race in the history of drag racing. Johnson 7:27, Alderman 7:31, but Alderman a 4.2 like Johnson a 4.5. Do the math, less than 1,000th of a second separated these two cars.
An unbelievable race. Darrell Alderman takes a very decided whole shot, starting line, whatever you want to call it, advantage, but he cannot hold off Johnson's mid-range charge, where he makes up that difference and actually holds on to just the ever so slightest margin of victory. And there you have it. Johnson, the winner.
The margin of victory was so small, yet this man, you knew you won, Warren.
Yeah, I saw the light just as across the line.
You're looking at the wind light at almost 200 miles an hour?
Well, you got a little time in there.
You have stopped the streak of the Dodge, and you're going to get a lot of pats on the back from the Gliddens of the world, too.
I think this is all for the rest of the races. Everybody was red lighting, doing everything that could possibly go wrong for them, and I think this is for the rest of the races, because we knew we could do it, and I think the other racers now are going to finally say that, hey, he puts his pants on the same way as we do, too.
You were very conservative off the starting line. You gave him 3 and powered by it.
We didn't want to take any chance on red light. We've been having good lights all day today, and I figured let's not get greedy here.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you very much.
I'll tell you, if I'd have been Warren Johnson, I wouldn't have been any more conservative on that light. 1,000th of a second separated those cars.
I still can't believe he was looking at the wind light at 189 miles an hour. But I guess you're comfortable in those machines. You can do about anything you want. Well, they may have beat him today, but they got a long ways to catch up as far as the points are concerned. Darrell Alderman will continue to lead the Winston Pro Stock points. There's Jerry Amato, and she knows that with a win here, her team could go a long way towards catching Kenny Bernstein in the Winston Top Fuel points.
Amato needs to make a move here. That points chase is getting away from him, and what happens is you get so far behind, you can't make up those rounds.
That's right. They always say it's a long season, but when the season's over, you look back at the second race where you made a mistake and it cost you the title. Don the Snake Prudhomme needs to run quicker. Amato has been in the fours in qualifying. Snake is not. He's not had a 4-second run here in Gainesville. He needs to make that happen right now to ensure himself of beating the Pennsylvania driver.
And Amato is just known for pulling the best run of the meet out of the bag on the final. I've seen him do it time and time again, and let me tell you, the Snake knows that.
Oh, absolutely. No question about it. They're staged and ready. Prudhomme loses traction. Amato. Oh, Big Daddy, you're a prophet. 4.89 seconds. That is not only the quickest run of this entire event. That is a brand new NHRA national record and worth 200 bonus Winston points.
Well, Prudhomme was going to make a race out of it. He had just a slightly better reaction time on the starting line, but Amato's car began to move immediately as the Prudhomme car went up in smoke, and Amato just charged on to that brilliant 489, taking away the national record from Darrell Gwynn. Let's watch the entire run again from the onboard camera. Take a ride on Amato's car.
After the first 3 races not doing well, this really pumps you up, doesn't it?
Well, I'm pumped up, except I'm trying to stay calm so I don't get too excited, keep my neck calm. But it looks like Team Valvoline's back. You know, Tim Richards and all the guys hung tough through, you know, 70 hours of driving and 50 hours of driving, and it's a storybook finish, really.
Gotcha.
I'm getting emotional here, but, you know, for Keystone Automotive and Key Parts and all the people from Valvoline, you know, and, you know, it's been a good year, and we're really... Last year was so exciting. It's hard to come back off that, you know, but we want to just make a run at the championship and give everybody a run for the money and have some exciting drag racing. I guess 489, that's as exciting as it can get.
Congratulations from all of us again.
Thank you very much.
Well, they worked hard. They made a lot of changes on the car, and it paid off. Kenny Bernstein still leads in the points, but not by very much. It looks like Joe Amato could make a run on him. Also, Don Prudhomme is within striking distance. Back in the Oswald pits, it looks like the skylight has been taken out of that body. They're going to reinstall it on the chassis. John Force is going to have a competitor in the funny car final.